So they're both tough acts to follow, so, you know, I'm rounding up the day here, apparently. My name's Jess. I'm the second co-curator at the Fergie Jenkins Museum. And as Jill was talking a little bit about the theory that's going behind some of the initiatives that we're going to institute at our organization, I'm going to talk a little bit more about those initiatives and tell you what we're actually attempting to do there in order to engage Inbetweeners. So, as Nina Simon pointed out in her Museum 2.0 blog entry from last fall, I believe, it was entitled Selling a Product versus Building a Movement. Young people today are eager to get involved, take responsibility, and become part of a larger whole when it comes to museums. She actually compared it to the war effort from World War I and World War II, about young people wanting to get involved and wanting to really make a difference in the world. So that's what she compared it to today, for young people wanting to be involved in museums, whether that be visiting, volunteering, or becoming a member. It's no longer simply about free admission or discounts in the gift shop, or like Jill said, seeing an object at face value. It's about making a difference and giving back to your community. At the Fergie Jenkins Museum, where we are in the preliminary stages of our programming development, we believe that the sense of civic duty will certainly influence the type of programming and events that we design to engage Inbetweeners. And as we've already mentioned, our museum does have a pretty specific collection. So this means that we do not necessarily appeal to everyone, at least at first. So we do have to work extra hard in order to market ourselves successfully to potential visitors. But in today's ever-evolving cultural climate, the elusive in-betweener requires that museums make it a priority to help them form a connection to place. What is a connection to place? I'm actually a little bit disappointed that Doug Stewart isn't here with us. As anybody from our program last year knows. I don't know if have you guys had Doug as a professor? So he's talked to you about connection to place, right? The different levels. So a connection to place is about leaving a museum feeling enriched by what you've experienced, and totally getting it. Like, now you're leaving and it's a part of you. So that's what we're aiming for. And it's also about socializing with content. I'm stealing a phrase from Kelly from the last Museums After Hours panel, because that really spoke to me when she said, Inbetweeners want to socialize, but they want it to be with content. They want it to mean something. So you need that in order to form a connection to place. With this in mind, we want to reach out to the 18 to 30 demographic through mediums, events, and ongoing programming that will appeal to them and enable them to forge that all-important connection to our collection, our institution, and our local community. So, technology. It's kind of scary, and as Jill mentioned before, it's something that often today museums do appeal to younger people. They may throw a touchscreen up on the wall, or they think that if they use social media that they can connect to young people successfully. That's not going to happen. You need to do it with a purpose. So we do have touchscreens in our new museum. We do, but we're using them as a means to an end. So, for example, the gems, I guess you could call them, of our museum's collection are 6 scrapbooks that were made by Fergie Jenkins' father, and he started collecting articles about Fergie's childhood, his days in Scouts, newspaper articles from the mid-1940s, all the way up to the end of his career as a Major League Baseball player in 1983. So these scrapbooks they hold a lot of information about Fergie's past, and they're, the most important items in our collection. Now, obviously, they're very delicate. They're paper. We have them under glass. You can only see one page. But Jill and I and a couple of dedicated interns took photographs of every single article, every picture, and then we diligently worked on Photoshop and cropped every single one to make it look perfect. And now we've employed these touchscreens. They allow visitors coming in to see every single page and explore it on a deeper level. So really, we are using the touchscreens because the 18 to 30 demographic, on the whole, are pretty tech savvy. I mean, I'm in that demographic. I don't know everything, of course, But I mean, on the whole, we know how to use smartphones, we know how to use touchscreens, and this is a medium where we feel comfortable. So we believe that by providing this group with an opportunity to view important, delicate materials like these scrapbooks on the touchscreen, even though they don't get to physically touch it, we do think that they'll be able to form a bond with the artifact and therefore a connection to place. As Jill mentioned, there has been a shift in the value that objects within a museum have for their audience. Visitors today are placing more importance on the information they gather from the object rather than its face value. So being able to explore the collection digitally, in this case, allows current museum goers to satisfy that curiosity that is more prevalent among modern visitors, among that younger demographic than it is older visitors. Our collection, as we mentioned numerous times, is quite specified, so we think that by appealing to the technological sensibilities of younger adults, we can hopefully generate more interest in our collection, which doesn't necessarily appeal to them at the beginning. So other than the touchscreens, which I'm sure I've missed a few slides, Jill made this slideshow and she puts pictures like every sentence. And I'm just reading, I'm just going to skim through the next few. There's a scrapbook for you. That's not our scrapbook, that's bunny cards. I don't know what that is. Curiosity. Okay. So one of the next initiatives we're hoping to get underway is a biannual pitching clinic and fantasy baseball camp. Because as a baseball museum, we should probably have some baseball-related programming. So for the Inbetweeners, we want to offer this as a way for them to actually come and meet Fergie. So it's something that will be hosted by Fergie. He only comes to Canada, even though he's from here, he's from Chatham. He is only in the country like 4 times a year for different fundraising events. So we have to make use of him while we have him. So we plan on, utilizing that time while he's here in the summertime to come up and do these pitching clinics and these fantasy baseball camps, because he's always been quite active in those sorts of avenues, I guess. So while it will also, it'll give them a chance to learn from a Hall of Famer, we don't want to just open it up to Inbetweeners. So even though we're talking today about engaging Inbetweeners, we can't alienate our true blue audience, which are those middle-aged sports fans that remember Fergie in the 60s and 70s when he was pitching. They're our dedicated group that always comes to us no matter what. And they love fantasy baseball, so we cannot exclude them from this. However, we do want to partner with Brock University to put this on. We already take in multiple student interns from Brock from their sports management program. So we want to use Brock as the host for these events, and that way we can effectively market it to their students, whether they be sports management, rec and leisure, the Brock Badgers, which is their boys baseball team, men's baseball team, borderline, and girls softball as well. So, third initiative. I think, yes, this is the slide. Okay. So, we also want to institute a quarterly guest speaker series. So, considering young people today possess, as Nina Simon called it, an activist mentality in regard to their societal responsibilities, quarterly guest speakers, whose topics can range from sports to politics, Black history to museums. We want to get everybody in there, and we believe that this series will appeal to those Inbetweeners who are looking to get more involved in the community, but may not have a specific interest in our collection, which directly relates to Fergie Jenkins. I know as a student, I, of course, went to university in the town where I grew up, because I'm a bit of a homebody, but I have a lot of friends who, when they came to Peterborough to go to Trin, they were eager to get involved in the local community, and that's something that Miriam mentioned as well, is something students want to immerse themselves in the culture of the town where they're living. So this is something where, if I recently moved to St. Catharines and I said, well, you know what, I'm not really crazy about baseball, but they're hosting a really great speaker who's, talking about the Black history of St. Catharines, or they're talking about the St. Catharines Museum or something like that, and I'm interested in that topic, I'm going to come to the Fergie Jenkins Museum to hear that speaker. So the point is, we want people to come in, you know, and it is socializing with content. It may not necessarily be our content, but we need to bring them in with something that they want, and then once they're in, then we can say, hey, while you're here, take a look around our space, see what appeals to you from our collection. Because really, young people are just eager to learn, they're eager to socialize, so we think that appealing to their sense of civic duty, desire to be part of something larger, this activist mentality, through that we'll familiarize them with our collection and our cause, and hopefully gain a member or partner out of the deal. So that's good. Yep. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. This one's good. This one's good. Okay, so I'm coming back to personal experience again, but our fourth initiative is having bi-weekly mixers, which again is an after-hours event, like Friday Night Live, like RNG Fridays. We gotta have one too, apparently. Now this is, you know, we're not as hip as an art gallery. I hate to say it, I love our collection, okay? But we're not that hip space that everyone's gonna be like, wow, a mixer at the AGO, I totally wanna go, it's gonna be so cool. You know, we wanna have that too, but we wanna make it more about coming in and just meeting people, meeting other young people like yourself, having some wine, having some cheese, you know, wine and cheese go together, and networking, like that's what it's about. And also, again, like Miriam said, it's about that getting that behind the scenes look too. So this is really an opportunity for people to come in. Pardon? Oh, slides, I'm forgetting again. Oh, right, behind the scenes, right. So getting that behind the scenes look at the Fergie Jenkins Museum, being able to ask questions, being able to ask Fergie questions, because like I said, he's not in the country that often, but we talk to him every week. You know, we're talking to him constantly, so it's being able to ask us stuff and know that the next time you come to the mixer, 2 weeks from now, we'll have an answer for you from Fergie, which is really cool because, you know, a lot of people like Fergie. He's a nice guy. All right, okay, oh, the other thing about mixers is that they're also more informal because, again, like, I say that, like, moving to a new city, I want to go out and I want to learn something, but I'm not necessarily the type of person that's going to go to a guest speaker series, because it seems, you know, some people, they just initially think it's going to be stuffy, they think you're just going to go and sit and listen to someone talk, and they may learn something, but they're not having fun. So a mixer is so much more informal, you can just go and chat with anybody you want, it's not nearly as structured, so that's kind of why we wanted to have a little bit of both worlds here. And like I said about us not being hip, that's something we're not overly concerned with becoming the new hip spot, because we don't just want to, you know, say, oh yeah, you're going to have to travel across town. We're in an industrial area. We're not even close to downtown at all. Like, our location has almost nothing going for it. Okay, I'll admit it. But we want to make it a comfortable, welcoming space that Inbetweeners can enjoy alongside our typical audience as well. So it's about getting them in and saying, wow, like, okay, sure, like, I'm not going to, you know, come here every afternoon and bring my coffee and hang out. Not that there's anything wrong with that, and if your location can sustain that and it's somewhere that you want to go. But with us, it's just not, it's not an idea that's going to work for our location. So that's why it's just like, just come, and every other week you can come and hang out with people of all ages. And like Miriam said, again, I keep going to Miriam. There you go. Thumbs up. It's about furthering your career as well. Like Inbetweeners, it's all about young professionals making connections. And I'm one of them, so I know that I want to meet people that, you know, even if it's 5 years down the road, maybe they can help me out. So, I'll probably skip some more. Yeah. There we go. So, the final initiative that I'm going to talk to you guys about is an advisory committee. So, as Jill mentioned, we haven't fully opened our museum yet, but before we do that, probably in the next few months, we hope to form an advisory committee, because it is all important in the museum world to ensure that any major decisions that you make regarding the museum's direction are supported by your local community and your visitorship as a whole. So we hope that these quarterly meetings, tentatively, will be, I don't know where I want that, but we're hoping that they're going to be a success and that really they're going to be open to visitors as well. So it's not just about, okay, here's our advisory committee, we've got our 10 people, and they're going to make all the decisions from here on out. It's also about opening, it's like question period. You know, we're opening it up to the public too, to come in and say, wow, like now everyone can come see how decisions are made, and they're also going to participate in a vote for our quarter's outstanding local athlete. There's the vote. So we have this idea for something as a sports museum that it might be nice to have somebody on display in the museum. For every 3 months, we choose a new local athlete. And this athlete will be between the ages of 16 and 25. So, in fact, an in-betweener. And as we've heard in multiple sessions today, and we all know it's true too, you want to go to a museum where you see yourself represented. Or if it's not you personally, it's your community represented. So that's how this idea of having this local athlete featured every 3 months came to be. So the advisory committee and the public who attends those meetings will have a chance to vote on these athletes and also submit nominations for the next one. So that's a really great opportunity to get involved. And we hope that this chance to join the Fergie Jenkins Museum family as being a part of the committee will basically we want to attract in-betweeners. That's what this whole talk is about. So, I mean, on a committee of around 10 people, I'd like to have at least 2 to 3 in-betweeners in that 18 to 30 range, because we need that young perspective. And you can say that, yes, our 2 curators are in-betweeners, but we're also people within this world. You know, we are museum professionals. So we need completely outside perspective to really see what your everyday person just walking down the street really wants from you. So, in completion, I guess, let's see what slide I'm at now. Oh, that worked. We're hoping that by giving the public an opportunity to come see the process of how museum decisions are made and giving them the chance to make an impact, we aim to dismiss the idea of museum as expert. Because really, a museum and its community should enjoy a mutually beneficial relationship, and that is what we're trying to create at the Fergie Jenkins Museum. Thank you very much.